3 dinosaurs are set to be remodeled and reworked in Path of Titans this year. This includes remodels and setting them out to be feature complete. So, what do we know about this so far, and what do people want to see from this in the community as well? Let's talk about that. Last year, we saw the rework of a handful of dinosaurs, namely Ceratosaurus, Concavenator, Suchomimus, Camptosaurus, Metriacanthosaurus, and Latanovenatrix. However, this year, the reworks continue. The developers of Path of Titans outlined in their December dev blog that they intend to give a TLC to these 3 herbivorous dinosaurs: Barsboldia, Struthiomimus, and Lambeosaurus. They also mentioned that more dinosaurs could be expected to get TLCs throughout the year. However, that's not the focus in today's video. These, in my eyes, however, are some of the dinosaurs that really do need a TLC, especially when you look at the models and how they play for the most part. The Lambeosaurus model has gone unchanged pretty much since its addition 3 years ago into the game in November of 2020. And obviously coming up November this year, it'll be 4 years since it's added. But that being said, this model hasn't changed, and it's one of the earliest models for Path of Titans. Struthiomimus hasn't had any large model changes for a long time. You can compare it to its teaser trailer 4 years ago to its model now. Of course, it looks a little bit better, but it still looks pretty much the same. The posturing, everything like that is pretty much the same. And for Barsboldia, this has not had any proper changes since its introduction as well 2 years ago. Obviously, it had some slight tweaks and TLCs before that, but nothing major. So for the most part, all of these models are vastly unchanged. It's important to know, however, what this means overall for the dinosaurs involved. What do we know that they will get done on them? Well, it's easy to guess because we've actually been told the changes that will be made, and we can kind of have a look at what happened last year to the remodels. If we looked at the remodels of last year, they overall got some big character changes to the models, and so the skins and textures got better, and just overall it looked a lot nicer when you compare the before and after to a lot of them. And in this case, in some of the cases as well, they got abilities. Metriacanthosaurus ended up being completely reworked from being a venom dealing dinosaur to a healing dealing dinosaur, and Camptosaurus, when it did get its change and remodel change, it got the hop away ability, which allowed it to run away better. So for these 3 dinosaurs, what do we know they are going to be getting when they get their spotlight and their time and their TLC passes? So we know that they'll be getting a new abilities, animations, and new remodels, or model reworks pretty much. We also know that Barsboldia, Struthiomimus, and Lambeosaurus will be getting changes made to their abilities and stats, with the Path of Titans developers claiming that with these TLC passes, we also plan on updating their abilities and stats and get them to be as feature complete as possible. So the aim here with these remodels by the end of the year, hopefully, that these 3 dinosaurs will be as feature complete as they can be, and that hopefully means in technicality, these dinosaurs will be complete, minus a few things. Now, in terms of what we know, that's pretty much it. So this next part of the video, I'm pretty much going to be talking about what the community has suggested, because there's some really good community suggestions on the Discord server. If you go into the PTB forum on the Discord server, suggestions and all that, you can have a look at what people have suggested, and I'm going to be talking about them right now. So let's talk about that. I'm going to dive right in with the Struthiomimus rework. I think Struthiomimus will get the treatment that Latanovenatrix got, and will ultimately get, I think, Deinonychus will get this as well. As for the rework, I think the feather textures will be reworked, and they'll be made a lot nicer rather than their current rough body on texture kind of vibe with very limited feathering. But that being said, of course, I feel like with the remodel, it will become more pronounced across the body. There's also a really good suggestion thread by a user called MartinX, who went into a lot of detail on the overall posture, going from more of a vertical posture that we have now that makes it look a little taller, to a more horizontal posture, which will allow this dinosaur to look like it's built for speed, which ideally it should be. And that ties into the gameplay changes as well, because people people did suggest, and I personally do agree here, that Struthiomimus should be more built for speed. It should be a speed-based dinosaur, and making it perhaps heavily supporting to the speed of other dinosaurs and the stamina drain of other dinosaurs will make it stand out to that of Camptosaurus, which is another one slot that is desperately in need of some new abilities to sprucing up its gameplay, which I also think should be a support-based dinosaur. And let's be honest, in terms of Struthiomimus, it's not got much going for it, so it definitely needs this tender love and care. This one is quite a tough one in terms of the remodel, because Barsboldia itself is very fragmentary in its nature, in the nature of its fossils found. However, this is explained nicely in a thread by Delta Ghost with comments from Martin X and others, who pretty much basically said because of its fragmentary nature that it could really spec into for its subspecies, play into other looks from other saurolophins like that of Edmontosaurus and other ones like that. And also like how Pycnomasaurus and Pachycephalosaurus have other variants, like they've got one with horns, which is definitely a play on Carnotaurus. With Bars's size, people also suggest that they would like to see it reduced and its combat weight reduced as well, and overall make sure that its resistance is increased instead. One of the other big community suggestions is that the prehistoric planet Barsboldia should be what the reference is for the new Path of Titans Barsboldia, because it looks really nice, and that was actually based off of Edmontosaurus, which of course is another saurolophin. And finally, for the Lambeosaurus, we don't actually need to go that far into the depths to find some good suggestions here. One of them, or the main one, is made by Sergey. If you don't know who he is, he makes the KTO mods, and he actually has outlined this very well, basically picking at certain things here with the crest and the keratin overall and the wrinkly textures, the old wrinkly textures, increasing the amount of keratin textures on the crest and the beak, and of course bettering the texture along the body. However, he also did wrap up some nice suggestions for improvements where he got all the subspecies together, reworked them himself, and then forwarded that showcase and showcased what it could look like, which is really, really nice. While I do think Lambeo is very exceptional with its healing prowess and its abilities that spec into that healing support, I do also like this suggestion made by a user called Astral Archivist, which suggested that this dinosaur should become more of a mothering dinosaur as well, with a sense called Caregiver. This essentially would reduce damage dealt to juveniles which are in your presence by 65%, and nearby juvies grow 10% more from their rewards, which essentially allows it to buff people in your group, babies, and help them out. And if you want to help people grow faster, that is why Lambeo would be the perfect fit. We don't really have a dinosaur that specs into that mothering sense, and I feel like Lambeo, being a very kind and gentle hadrosaur, being the healer in the game as well, would fit very nicely. That being said, everybody, let me know what you think about these reworks, and I want to know, what do you want to see from these dinosaur reworks? Do you want to see new abilities? If so, do you have any ideas? And of course, from the remodels, what do you think they should look like? Anyways, guys, if you want to check out another video, I recommend this mod spotlight, where we talked about a bunch of upcoming mods for Path of Titans, like the fact that there is a Triceratops mod that is almost complete. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.